So I want to address this genuinely. I don't want to just make another point about, why I think D&D stats are stupid. Like, the hot take time has passed. But I do actually want to talk about this in reference to game design. Lots of people have commented about how stat numbers allow you to do certain things, like have middle step prerequisites, or, like you said, have them break ties. So my question when addressing this is the thing that the stat grants you more important than having the stat be very transparent and easy to understand to a new player? Because this isn't actually an either-or question. I'm not actually saying that you have to lose things to implement this change. I'm just saying that other things will change as well, and the question is whether or not it's worth those changes. In this example, you said that you use these to settle ties. I actually think that's a really, really good idea. But the way I would implement that in my system is just have a 0.5 modifier. Your modifier is 1, your modifier is 1.5. If you roll the same, 1.5 will be higher than 1. It's very easy to understand. You don't have to make any exceptions. You don't have to say, okay, now check the raw stat number. It's all just simple and in the system. The same thing can go for requirements. Multi-class requirements, magical weapon requirements, they could have 0.5 modifier requirements. Want to distribute your stat points across 2 stats instead of 2 and just 1? That's 2.5s into 2 stats. Like, I'm not actually saying to get rid of the things that rely on the quote-unquote core stat value. I'm saying those things should be derived from the modifier rather than the modifier being derived from the value, because the modifier is what is used more often in gameplay. The thing that you most often interact with should be the core part of the system, in my opinion. So all of these offshoot situations that people are mentioning, which are perfectly fine, I don't want to get rid of them in the system, you can still have them, you would just derive them from the modifier rather than derive them from the stat you get the modifier from. And you can do this just by following the same mathematic equations, because there is a pattern to how you get modifiers from stats. In this case, you take your modifier, you multiply it by 2, you add 10, then you would get what stat you would have. And then you add whatever other mathematical mumbo-jumbo you want to figure out what value you're trying to get, like weight carrying capacity. Or, who knows, you can make it even more elegant. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, all of these examples that people are giving me of how the stat is used, I'm aware that they exist. I just think that it's worth changing them, as well as changing the core stats to make the game a little bit easier to understand. You don't have to lose them, it's not an either or.